you to. So to start using it, you can just always read through the landing page, but then to start using it, you can go to get started or start for free here. So that will take you to where you can create an account, just input your details and it automatically like let you in. But then here we can just log in the account that's already here. You can view your password in case you want to view your password too, but then this is where it will bring you to. This shows here only if you are using the free trial version. This is on my own local host, so you still have access to all the features, but then some features will not be available to you after the 14 days free trial. So here is the calendar. So you can add, what's it called now? You can filter your calendar, add, for example, you can see what is due today. These are the things that are due today. Invoice due on 30th, that's on Thursday. Due better work. Okay, this is a meeting, this is a meeting. Then here's another invoice that is due on that day. So it will tell you the invoice is due by 1 a.m. because that's the time you set when you are creating your invoice. So that's that. Then it's telling you to do a quick schedule for next week, for tomorrow, for 1 hour time. But then you can just schedule a meeting whichever way you want to. But that's that for now. Then you can create projects. So here are the projects I've created in this account. So you can create a new project. Say okay, WHO website. So description, you can describe okay, WHO philanthropy projects in Nigeria. So who are the people on your team that you want on it? By default, we pick you that you are creating a project, but then you can add other team members. So you can have up to 25 team members on your listing for the what's it called, for the free version. I mean for the 5,000 naira version. Once you have more than 25 workers, then it will charge you 10,000 naira per month. So you get 50, then 200 will charge you 15,000 naira per month. Like that. So you are creating a new project now, so it will automatically create your project for you, take you to the project page. Then you can now start creating tasks. So for example, landing page, you can describe the landing page. It has all the details of the projects in Nigeria. Okay, so what's the priority? Is it low? Is it high? Is it critical? I can say low to do for now. Then when is the due date for this particular project? 29th. Then who am I assigning it to? Let me assign it to Abbas Ayotunde, create task. So it automatically creates the tasks as you've what's it called, as you assigned it. Then you can create and you can assign a task to more than one person. Let's say about us page like that. Then describe whatever it is, tells us all we need to know about WHO and all of us on the team. So this one might be medium to do. Then which day are you saying it's due? Let's say 30th too. Then let's say you have a content writer and a developer working together on this one. So you can pick two people to work together on this. So two of them, you can see the two of them here. So you are creating the task now. So it automatically creates the task for you. Then when the task is in progress, the staff can move it here or move it to blocked in case there's something that you need to work on the project that is not available yet, or move it to done. So you can see as it's moved to done, you can see it's telling you 1/2 done because you have just two tasks on this particular board. So you can see you can create a sprint if you want to work in sprints. You can check for the analytics of this particular project. You can see to do and the likes like that, breakdown and the likes like that. Then you can create an invoice for a particular task, but then I want to create an invoice for this one. Then you have your CRM. Your CRM is just basically your customer relationship management. So for example, I can say I have a new lead now. Say the name is Abbas Olaya. Then email. Let me just use workdora@gmail.com for now. Then plus 23470629624. 68. Then job title of the person in question, let's say Abbas Olaiya is the CTO. Then status, is it new, is it have I contacted him, have I qualified him, is it proposal, is it negotiation, is it won, is it lost? So let's just say contacted for now. Source, okay, referral, website, social media, email, whichever one it is. So I can say I just saw it as I met him at an event. Oh, sorry, you are seeing my debugging distance here because I'm using the local host here. So here is assigned to, I'm assigning this to Abbas. Then I can add the notes. He wants a one meeting. So create lead. So you can see the lead is created as Abbas Olaiya is the CTO, the company is Tech, the email, the phone number, the status, the where we met, the person that this lead is assigned to, and the last time it was contacted. So I can edit this later to see. Okay, for example, I can go to its detail page. You can see it's contacted. I can change it to qualified from there. So you can see status updated and it's changed to qualified. Then activity log. So I can log an activity notes. So is it a meeting? So we have a meeting. Then I tell, okay, they requested for a demo. So that's the outcome, positive. So save. So that's on that. You can see it has logged that particular activity for me. Then I can add more as it goes on like that. Then the invoice part. So these are the invoices I've created so far. So I can check my wallet. I can refresh template. So I can create a new invoice. So client's name is Abbas Olaiya. His email is, let's just use this email. Then phone number +234709624 like that. And due date for this invoice, let's say this invoice is due on 5th of next month. Then the items, front end development, quantity 1, unit price, let's say it's 2 million naira. Sorry, 20 million, 2 million. Then if there's any tax applied to it, so I can say the tax on this is 3%. Then add another item, backend development, backend development. Then quantity 1, say this one is 5 million naira. So let's say the tax is on this one is 1%. Then I can add another task again. Sorry, I said task, another item. Then maybe there's no tax, there's no item for me to add. I can remove with this or remove with this. I can just remove. You can see it's removed. This is total for this. So if I send this invoice now, it will send to the person's email. So if you check, I can see saying sending email here. So it will send to the person's email. So if I check, what's it called now? My email now, it will be there already. So let me just go to Gmail. Sorry, gmail.com. So this is it. You can see the invoice is there already because I've created the invoice and I've sent it. So if they are ready to pay, they can just click pay and they can pay with our payment system. Though we will charge you, I think 4% for that. Then you can download the PDF if you want to send a WhatsApp, or you can share the link to the public access to the invoice. So that's that. Then profile. This profile is where you can edit your profile. So you can change your name and the likes. Security, that's your password and email. Referral, maybe you want to refer someone, you can send, because I'm on local, so I showing you normally to show you WorkDora.com. Then organization setting, you can set your organization, you can edit the organization email. Then general currency of payment. So for example, I'm using Nigeria because I'm in Lagos. Bank accounts, you can add your bank account details and the likes like that. So when they pay you, you can remit your money into your bank wallet. Then subscription, this is where you subscribe. So for now it's 4,999 and it's unlimited for now till June. But then till when it's June, after 25 people you have to pay 10,000 naira. But then after 50 people you have to pay what's it called? 50 people 10,000. After 50 people 15,000 naira. till you get to 100 people. So that's that. Then you can see your expenses. You can record your expenses here. So you can add new expense and the likes, and you can see how much you spent. Then you can check your financial report because we have your income and your outflow. So you can see your financial report on this end of things. Then then okay, I've not done any transaction for this month, so that's why it's not showing me anything here. If I pick here, okay, that's then going back. Then I can see my accounting. So it's showing me my profit and loss. You can see my gross profits, total expenses, net profits, and the likes and the likes. So these are my expenses. These are my sales and revenue. And report generated 2704 because that's today's date. So that's that. Then on the profile, you can change your theme color. So these are WorkDora theme. Then you can change it to light theme. Then you can change it to dark theme. So whichever one you prefer to use. So that's that on using WorkDora. And you can log out here too. Thank you so much for watching to this point, and I hope you have a pleasant use of our app. Have a blessed day.